Alright, this video is a topic. Somebody sent me this article. I think it's an important article to get people aware out there. Article is about female bodybuilder dies from eating too much protein. So go ahead and read the article.
Okay. It starts out, she didn't know she had a rare condition that made it hard to break down protein. 25-year-old bodybuilder Meegan Hefford from West Australia was found unconscious in her apartment and rushed to hospital. She died 2 days later. It wasn't until her death that doctors discovered Hefford had been living with a rare condition that meant her body couldn't break down protein. Hefford, a mother of two and paramedic trainee, had been following a strict diet in the run-up of a bodybuilding competition in September. She was consuming high levels of protein from shakes, supplements, and protein-rich foods. But unbeknownst to her, Hefford was suffering from a rare condition called urea cycle disorder, or UCD, which is genetic. Roughly 1 in 8,000 people have UCD, but many do not know. The condition causes a buildup of ammonia in the blood and accumulation of fluid in the brain, which eventually leads to brain damage. Hefford's her death certificate lists UCD as well as an intake of bodybuilding supplements as causes of her death. And her family are now calling for tighter restrictions on protein powders and supplements. I know there are people other than Meegan who have ended up in the hospital because they've overloaded on supplements. Hefford's mother, Michelle White, said. The sale of these products needs to be more regulated. White said that her daughter would regularly go to the gym twice a day in an effort to prepare for the bodybuilding competition. But in June, Hefford started telling her family that she felt lethargic and weird. White had no idea Hefford was taking supplements, but found lots, as well as a detailed diet plan, in her daughter's home after she died. She leaves behind 2 children, a 7-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. Hefford has also donated her heart, her lungs, and her kidneys. Losing Meegan is so awful that I still can't believe she's gone, but I have to focus on the positives, that at least I had 25 years with her and she jammed so much into her life. It's almost like she knew that her time would be cut short, White said. Experts advise that protein shakes and supplements should be taken in moderation and never as a meal replacement. Considering many people may not know that they have underlying conditions, it's important to stay within the daily guideline amounts. Current government recommendations for adult men is 55.5 grams a day, and for women is 45 grams a day for protein. And that's the end of the article.
You want to give your feedback first?
Sure.
You want me to go first?
I'll go first. Wow. So being a fitness professional myself, my heart definitely goes out to the Hefford family, especially her children and her mom, who seems to have been really close to her. So I'm so sorry to hear of her passing. The thing that really saddens me most is that it could have been prevented. As a fitness professional, I always tell people who I train, and I even take it, I take it on myself as well, that whenever I partake in something new, I make sure that I am in the condition where I can withstand it and it will not be of detriment to me. So I always tell people, before taking on a new regimen, before changing up your diet, before starting with these new dietary supplements, including protein supplements, to always do a check-in. If you need to go to the doctor to get a physical, let him or her know that you're getting ready to partake in a new type of training, that you have an eye out for this certain supplement. Do your research on the supplement. Look at the different side effects. Look at any of the contraindications telling you which conditions would not be good to have while taking this protein supplement, or any supplement, including creatine, thermogenetics, any of these supplements that a lot of fitness people, especially those getting ready for competition, may partake in. Another thing we have to really focus or become conscious and aware of is our diet. You know, we have so many fad diets out there, like you got your protein diet, you got your low carb, no carb diet, you have eat 2,000 beets in a month and you'll lose 30% body fat diet. I mean, there is a diet gimmick with just about everything out there. Sometimes people use detoxification programs, I think it's called the lemonade diet, that a lot of people do to lose weight, and that diet is not for losing weight. Now, if you do it the way that you're instructed to, yeah, you are going to lose some weight, but a lot of that weight may be muscle weight, not just fat. So we have to become more conscious and make wise decisions when it comes to our well-being. It's not just about getting down to a smaller size. It's not just about gaining as much muscle as you possibly can. You really do have to pay attention to your body structure. Pay attention to how you respond to certain types of foods. Because even the strict diets that a lot of the fitness and bodybuilding competitors partake in, the reason why they can only do it in preparation for the competition is because it is not life-sustaining, which means if you did it on a regular basis, it would probably kill you. And I've done a couple competitions just to get a feel for it, and I decided to work with a trainer for motivation and to take me through some things that I may not have known. And the first thing he did was try to restrict my diet, telling me what I needed to cut out and what I didn't need to do. Now, a lot of folks may not know this, but I have type 1 diabetes, and I am aware of the types of foods that I need to eat, what I need to do. Cutting out carbs is not an option for me, but this trainer immediately wanted to cut out my carbs and restrict me to only these certain foods, two of which made me sleepy. It slowed down my metabolism. I didn't feel good after eating them. Now, these are healthy foods, but I know my metabolic type. I know how I process certain foods. They weren't good for me, but he insisted that I do this. Now, mind you, he didn't ask me if there were any conditions that I had. He didn't ask me if I had any aversions to any types of foods. He didn't ask any questions. He just went based on what he knew to do to prepare a person for a fitness competition. As trainers, we've got to be more responsible. If you're going to take someone through a regimen, then do the proper intake. Find out what's going on with them. Get their history. Find out who they were before they started training with you, because something in that history is going to impact the training that you do for them. And as trainers, we are health providers. We are wellness providers. We are to be a vehicle to help build up the people who we work with, not tear them down. So trainers, I feel that we have to take more responsibility when it comes to training people and preparing them for any type of competition, be it in fitness and bodybuilding or be it in athletics. Also, as the individual partaking in the training or partaking in the new diet, you have to be you got to be responsible. Read up on these different diets. If it's something new that you're doing, go and consult your healthcare provider, be a holistic physician or a Western medicine physician. But this article, it saddens me because her death could have been prevented. And a lot of people, they're not aware of UCD, the urea cycle disorder. They're not aware of it. But if you're partaking in something that extreme dieting, extreme working out, you have all these supplements that you're taking, then go and get yourself checked up. Let someone know what you're about to do so that you can take intelligent steps in preparing for whatever competition. I have so much more to say, but I want you know, this touches home for me, so I just, yeah. And I'm hoping that it reaches out and it touches someone who may currently be preparing for a fitness or a bodybuilding or some type of athletic competition, because, you know, again, yeah, we want to be the best that we can be in all of these events and all of these these different ventures, but if you're not around after the event, or if you're not around to compete in the event, then why go through all this, you know? So tell me your thoughts. Share your thoughts. I'm going to be quiet now.
Mine is more of from a spiritual standpoint. I more would focus on eliminating the desire to even engage in any sort of competitions. I think that's the foundational issue here. You know, I speak a lot against like the combat sport and all that stuff, but it boils down to like your health. You know, like it boils down to it, like the reason why boxing is that people shouldn't do it is because it's not healthy. Not only is it not healthy, but it's violent. You know, it's not healthy for the people that are in the ring. It's not healthy for the people that are watching. You know, same thing with the cage fighting. To even further extent, is even more unhealthy. And then even to the football, it's unhealthy. These are very unhealthy ways of competing. You know, and competition to me is the downfall and going too far with it. Bodybuilding, you know, this woman died over it, and that's just, it's absurd. You know, it shouldn't happen. You know, like this, like you said, it could have been very easily prevented, but I think it's more of a spiritual thing. It's like if she decided not to go into the competition, then she more than likely would still be living and she'd be fine, and her kids wouldn't have lost a mother. But when we start doing things to ourselves in unhealthy ways in order to get recognition or attention from the people around us, and just we're not training for ourselves anymore, we're not training for our health anymore, but we're training to get recognition, to get money, to win an award or whatever. That's where things get really unhealthy. You see a lot of these Olympic athletes, you know, they might not die, but they get caught using steroids, for example, because they want to get an edge over the competition, and then they get in trouble over it or whatever the case may be. Same thing with Lance Armstrong, you know, doing the biking, and Barry Bonds with the steroids and the baseball. It's like people want to get an edge. They want to get an edge over the competition. So basically, what it ends up happening is, like, the people that are willing to get closest to death but not actually die are the ones that are kind of, they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it so that they can win. And what makes this even more sad is, you know, no disrespect to the person, but more than likely she probably wouldn't even came close to winning anyway. And even if she was winning, it's probably just an amateur competition, not even be money involved. You know, it's just, you know, if a boxer like Mayweather or somebody is making millions of dollars to put his life on the line, that's one thing. But for somebody who's just a mother or father, you know, just doing this on the side, they're not even making any money out of it, and then they die over it, it just makes it even more absurd. You know what I mean? Like, there's people out there that are willing to put their lives on the line for $10 million, and I can understand that sometimes, you know, but to put your life on the line for nothing, for no money at all, it's just mediocre attention for the time being. It's absurd. And you know, it's just, I brought it up to you the other day. There's people, it's almost like everybody, at least one person dies every year from the Chicago Marathon. You know, and it's just like, you know, you're paying money to run a marathon. First, you can run the marathon on your own at any time of day. You can do it on your own. Nobody has to know. But no, you gotta pay money, brag about it to all your friends and family, tell everybody that you're gonna do the marathon, and then go on the specific day at a specific time, and then you try to run it at a certain time. And it's like, what does it matter if you run it in 5 hours or 3 hours? You're still gonna get the same medal. You're not gonna get any money out of it. And what, you know, if you die because you ran too fast, it's just a waste of your life, you know. And I think you know, that's the difference between the training that I'm trying to promote and what I deem as like the, you know, the martial arts, the real martial arts, and like real kung fu. It's about living longer. It's about health, and it's just basically, it's the opposite of what's going on out there. Everybody's trying to work out to prove something, or not work out, but compete to prove something, to win something. I mean, I could understand it, getting caught up into that stuff, but this is a reality check that I think we can all learn from. You know, this person's passing can really help educate people on what not to do, and also to be more aware of certain things, and just maybe also just motivating people to not get involved in these competitions to begin with. You know, because I think that is the foundational problem. And you know, other things that I recommend is just, I don't recommend supplements. I mean, that's just how I am. I don't recommend supplements. I just recommend eating like natural, healthy foods. You know, eating organic. You know, eating organic if you can. You know, and eating healthy stuff. No supplements. I don't take no protein powders, and I don't recommend that either. I recommend just from nature, eating from what's natural. You know, and I don't recommend entering any competitions. You know, I recommend not to work out necessarily to look good, but just to feel good. That's what I recommend, you know, and to always have in mind that you want to exercise and eat healthy so you can live longer and be happier. You know, not oh, you know, to train and then just get like a, you know, just to train to get like really cut abs, and the next thing you know, you're about to die from dehydration or something, you know. So also make it a point not to give too much attention or idolize or admire people that don't train in healthy ways. You know, like I don't look up to Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone or any of these bodybuilders that are on steroids. I mean, I don't look up to any of these people that pretty much cheat to get to where they're at. You know, I look up to people that are training in natural ways, healthy ways, and they're not really competitive. They're humble, and they're healthy, and they might look a lot younger than they actually are, and they're not there to show off, and they don't ask for your attention or recognition. But when you meet them, you just notice something about them that is unique, you know. And I look up to people that for inspiration. And if I can't find anybody like that around me, then I'll serve to be the inspiration for myself. You know, I don't need to look up to other people. I know for myself that I'm not on any supplements, that I'm not taking steroids, that I'm not taking creatine, that I'm not competing in anything to prove myself for anything. I just train naturally, I train healthy, and I try to get better for myself, and I try to serve to be an inspiration and a role model for my children, for my students, and for people that I interact with, is to train in a healthy way. You know, I don't need to be a bodybuilder. I don't need to be a fighter. I don't need to be like competing in ways where it's gonna be a detriment to myself. And if I'm gonna compete, it's gonna mainly just be competing with myself and trying to be better at what I can do. You know, if I could do like 20 pull-ups one day, then maybe I'll try to do 25 and do more eventually. But it's not like I pressure myself to have to meet a certain standard at a certain time. I just take my time. You know, I recommend people to train like, you know, that whole story with the turtle and the the rabbit, you know, the hare, you know, like the turtle's just taking its time. And I think, to me, that's what the Kung Fu training is designed to help you. Take your time, enjoy your life, relax, you know, and rest when you need to, and then, you know, train when you want to, or, you know, and just live a long, healthy life. So my aim is to eventually live, hopefully maybe till I'm 100 years old or something, and still have like life in me. I don't want to train like the hare and just die at the age of 30 or 40. Bruce Lee died at 32, this woman dies at 25, Tupac dies at 25, and it's like I don't want to die so young. You know what I mean? Like, I want to enjoy my life, and it's not worth sacrificing my life just so some people could just give me a little attention here and there. It's just nonsense to me, you know. And it's just sad to hear about this woman, because not only is her life gone because of this decision, but her children will forever be impacted from this decision, you know. And I think it's just getting caught up in how the society is and how competitive everybody is. It's like everybody's always got to be working out to compete. It's like, why can't you just work out just to be healthy? You know, and that's what I want to try to promote to the people out there, that it's okay to work out to be healthy, and we don't all have to compete all the time. You know, and if you're going to compete, then compete in a healthy way. You know, and, you know, it's just eat natural. You know, stay away from the supplements. Stop competing. Turn your exercise into a way of meditation and spiritualness. So then you learn to decrease that ego rather than enhance it. So a martial artist is supposed to keep training until the ego starts to dissipate, and then you're not competitive in it anymore. You're just connected to the whole, and it becomes more of a spiritual experience as you train, opposed to a competitive, ego-driven experience that is all about winning and proving yourself and developing arrogance and pride and all that stuff. And you know, it's sad because this woman's not even famous, and you know, it's just a headline. A lot of people don't even know what happened to her, or even care. But it's just like, I think this is a really impactful article to really get people to open their eyes, you know, to train in a healthy way. You know, not even though I like Bruce Lee a lot, you know, maybe there's certain things that he did to himself or the way that he trained that I might not necessarily agree with. You know, because I think if he took it easy a little bit more, maybe he would have lived a lot longer. You know, maybe he wouldn't have died so early. You know, just basically overworking yourself, striving to be perfect, and trying to live up to the standards of everybody around you. And then they just keep pushing you until you eventually just die early. You know, but if you just stop giving attention to all these people around you and just focus on your inner self, and don't over push yourself, but just push yourself just enough to gain the health benefits of whatever you're doing as far as exercise is concerned, that's how it should be. You know, and I think we, in this digital society that we live in, where everybody's so fixated on what other people think, all these people leaving comments, people going on Instagram and Facebook and looking for people's approval, we gotta learn to shut all that out and look within ourselves and stop paying attention to what other people think, you know, and focus on bettering ourselves truthfully, you know, body, mind, and spirit, you know, and getting sucked into this cycle of competition and all these people talking all this criticizing and trying to sway you into doing this and that. We gotta learn to shut that out. You know, we gotta train in the right way. And this whole channel is designed to try to help you balance yourself, train in a healthy way, and just shut all that noise out. You know, and a lot of people might, you know, they ask me, why do I turn off the comments? Well, that's part of it. Because I don't really care about what other people think, you know. It's about what I feel inside my heart and what it says. And I feel that people need to follow their heart more rather than just focusing and giving too much energy into what other people think. You know, that's not the way. You know, and I hope that us sharing this article can maybe potentially help save somebody's life from not engaging in something that could be a huge detriment towards their well-being. You know, but yeah, that's it.
So I agree. I agree there. I just want to say that our sincerest condolences and our prayers go out to the Hefner and White families. And,